Some people make you feel safe. Others make you feel as though you're always being watched. And then there are those who make you dread the moment you realize they've been in your life all along. I want to tell you about someone who was part of my life, someone who should have been a protector, but instead, became a monster in disguise. I was young when I first met him. Uncle Rajiv. He wasn't just any uncle, he was the kind of man who, at first glance, seemed harmless. Always the life of the party at family gatherings, with a smile that could charm anyone. But that smile? It was just a mask. You see, Uncle Rajiv wasn't like the others. He didn't show his true self right away. No, it took time. And a lot of patience. He'd hang around, offer little jokes, even give you gifts every now and then, things that made you think he was just a funny, quirky guy. But there was something about the way he watched me when no one else was around. A certain coldness in his eyes, like he was always calculating, always analyzing. It never felt right. When I turned 12, things started to change. I noticed that whenever my parents were busy or in another room, Uncle Rajiv would find a way to get close to me. At first, it was just small things. A hand on the shoulder that lingered too long. A laugh that was just a bit too loud, a little too forced. But then it escalated. One evening, after a family dinner, everyone was sitting around, laughing, drinking, enjoying themselves. I slipped away from the chaos, heading upstairs to my room. But when I reached the top of the stairs, I saw him. Uncle Rajiv, standing at the end of the hallway, just staring at me. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to. I felt it, the weight of his eyes on me. It was like he was hunting. I tried to walk past him, keep my head down, but he stepped in front of me, blocking my way. "Where are you going, kid?" he asked, his voice soft, but somehow threatening. "I'm tired. Just going to bed." He smiled, that same twisted smile that always made me shiver. "Oh, I think we should talk for a minute, don't you?" I tried to back away, but he reached out and grabbed my wrist. His grip was too tight, like he didn't want to let go. I remember my heart racing as I pulled against his hand, but it didn't matter. He was stronger than he looked. He dragged me into his room. It was dark, only a small lamp casting long shadows across the walls. Uncle Rajiv closed the door behind him, locking it with a soft click. I could hear my own breath, shallow, nervous. "You know," he began, his voice unnervingly calm, "you've gotten so grown up. So beautiful." I felt sick to my stomach. I wanted to scream, to run. But I couldn't. His eyes, cold and calculating, locked onto mine. "You don't have to be afraid of me. I'm your family. I just want to talk." His words didn't make any sense. How could someone like him be family? He wasn't a protector. He wasn't a guardian. He was a predator, and I was the prey. The worst part? I couldn't escape. Not in that house. Not while everyone else was downstairs, oblivious to what was happening above them. He took a step closer, and my body froze. "You know," he continued, "there's a lot more to life than you think. Let me show you." I pushed him away as hard as I could, finally breaking free. I ran out of his room, down the hallway, and into the bathroom, locking the door behind me. My hands were shaking. I couldn't stop them. I was trapped in my own home, my own family a stranger. The next day, Uncle Rajiv acted like nothing had happened. He laughed, he joked, like everything was fine. But I knew the truth now. I knew who he really was. I stayed as far away from him as I could, but that didn't stop him from watching me. His eyes never stopped following me. And every time I heard a creak in the floorboards, a faint breath in the dark, I knew he was there, lurking, waiting for his next move. It wasn't until years later, when I was finally old enough to leave that house, that I realized something chilling. Uncle Rajiv never stopped. Even when I left, he found ways to contact me. He would send messages, show up uninvited, always finding a way to remind me that he was still there. The scariest part? I realized I was never really free. He was always in my mind, lurking in the shadows, waiting for me to slip. And I wonder, how many others are out there, living with monsters disguised as family? If you have someone like that in your life, someone who makes you feel trapped, someone who hurts you in ways that no one else sees, it's okay to leave. It's okay to cut them out. They don't own you. You're not their victim. Just remember, the true monsters aren't always the ones hiding in the dark corners of the world. Sometimes, they're right next to you. And sometimes, they're the ones you trust the most. Stay safe, and remember, you're never alone. This is Dark Kona. Until next time.